America, they definitely hold their own. So they're not going into this match as underdogs by any stretch of the imagination. I just feel like Latromi and Cooler are looking really clean. But we're moments away from finding out. This is a qualification match, AMD versus Quaker Orbs.
Yeah, the story will be told now. I'm checking out Cooler. He is on stream right now. First time on this Dreamhack Tour event. I'm sure the Cooler fans are out there in their numbers.
Absolutely.
He brings a lot of magic to the game.
I mean, Cooler, this guy is a superstar. You know, when it comes to Quake, when it comes to legendary Quake players, he is right at the top of the list.
He's got a special aura about him as well that is just really indescribable. And Latromi, the lucky guy to be playing alongside. It makes it sound like there's an application form or something to play with, which isn't true.
That's the crazy thing, because it's Latromi who is the world champion.
Yeah, quite. Latromi's had the greatest success out of many players right now in Quake Champions, having taken that first spot at the Quake World Championship.
Actually a champion of Quake Champions.
Precisely. But he is rocking the Galena. There's going to be heavy up in a moment. We're a minute in, and we've not seen a lot of frags. But we know how we say that North Americans are fairly slow style. Cooler's got an even slower style than slow.
You know, that shot with Latromi was exceptionally impressive because he had the sun in his eyes on the map.
Pardon?
He had the sun in his eyes on the map. Oh. I thought I'd just point that out.
Okay. Well, Latromi, he's taken quite a lot of damage, and he's probably going to want to back off a little bit over here. I'm going to check out Cooler. He's just going to be hoarding the heavy, not letting Latromi take any of it. He's like, let me stack up.
But I mean, a lot of the players from this part of the world, you know, Cooler and Latromi, two players among many that play Quake Champions at a competitive level, they're totally content with slowing the pace down.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all about rushing all the time. If you know you can take a secure frag, then why not? But when they have to slow the game down to a snail's pace and, you know, and frustrate and cause maybe some anxious decisions from the other team, they're more than happy to take that decision, but they're going to be pushing in face first. Cooler just walking in a straight line and taking quad for himself.
Oh, Yenim, he's going to go down quickly. There's a Mega and there's a Totem as well, and Cooler's going to be able to get a bit more. Takes away two of the Totems on the teleporter exit there, and all of a sudden it's just bursted in some sort of action climax. Cooler, where they're taking a load of kills.
Cooler was definitely surprised that Yen actually had survived that, but gets caught fresh off the jump pad, which is going to give them quad, but only really enough to get maybe one frag at best. But I don't even think AMD, like, there was that delayed respawn. You know, he knows the quad's going to be up, and not up for long. Delayed respawn, by the time he spawned, quad's gone.
Well, let's check out some of the Quaker Orbs guys a bit. Effortless. Raffle champion, QuakeCon, 2 years running. Can't cut that out. He's had some successes as well in Quake Champions 2. Getting some top 4s, top 8s as well.
I think at this stage, where a lot of these players, even though it's open bracket, so many of these players, they have accolades of their own across multiple different game modes. It's crazy that Quake Champions, it's been out for well over a full year at this point. The game has evolved, and so have the players with it.
Massively, massively. Let's go have a look. We're still seeing an incredibly slow style from them, but it seems to be working out better from AMD. It's like, between the power-ups, we're not getting a lot. It's just they're choosing to camp certain rooms out, to hold certain positions with weapons like LG, for instance, that AMD are really able to make a lot of use of. And then when it gets to about 15 seconds before the power-up, then that's when they start exploding into action. You can see here through the teleporter, Yenim almost getting taken down over there. It's a 1-for-1, and eventually
everyone died.
They're all out of the picture. Who's going to be able to set up position on power-up first?
That was a neutral movie ending right there.
5 seconds ago, I think that Latromi's looking a little better.
I think the spawn definitely favored AMD. When everyone dies and it's moments away from power-up, the fact they spawned so close to it just gave them almost like an automatic level of control. Good stuff for AMD, and of course they take full advantage.
And Cooler had way less health than Latromi, but was like, no, I'm taking it. He's the visor after all. You can make some plays with this champion.
You kind of just get that vision, really. It's not just for securing frags, it's also for being able to look at where they are on the map so you can make a call on the item that you want to take, or whether it's safe to pick up that health bubble or that rocket launcher or whatever.
Unfortunately for Cooler, he's not going to be able to extend the lead anymore. There's a jump over from Effortless. Here's LG looking pretty good. Oh, there's Yenim actually to support right behind.
It was super impressive that he survived that fight. I was almost convinced that after the rail, especially, that Latromi had landed. Cooler the funny thing is, you know, master of hindsight and all I know, but if he was actually able to stay there instead of pulling that left towards rail, I actually think he would have been able to actually combo the rail into LG. But of course, it just happened way too fast. We just had the X-ray vision. Caster God powers.
I'm really curious actually to check out the Quaker Orb comms because it's a very slow game between them. So I'm very curious what kind of callouts are they making now and loading up towards the power up. So we're going to jump on comms with them now and find out.
Giving real importing. Actually, no. Set up heavy.
One on A. They're both B. One dropped on you.
55.
55, 58. One rockets.
100 on him.
One ported.
He's weak. Really weak. LG pad. I'm going for heavy. 54.
One on A. One on.
I'll be on heavy.
Yeah, one heavy.
One's
on Mega.
T. One's T. I'll be there. It's like 3. Pause like at 3. Yeah, I'm at rail pad. I'm coming in now.
One dead. One weak.
He's on.
Killable. Mega's up.
He got it.
Very interesting to hear from them just then. Unfortunately, they weren't able to secure the power up in the end. So we're going to stay on cooler with that. But what did you make of those comms?
I think every single important call out was made, and I think that's the hallmark of these kind of really sort of top tier teams in 2v2, where if something is significant, then absolutely the two of them know about it simultaneously. And it's even the reminder of the second they'd called out heavy, when the Mega was called out, both timers were instantly recapped then and there. Just any chance of it being misheard is completely gone. Unfortunately, when they actually went out by rail to try and take that fight forwards quad, he kind of almost forced himself into an unfortunate angle where, you only had so much of the model to hit when you're from the bottom. So it kind of really forced you to have this god tier accuracy on the LG that you're not always going to have, especially if they're smaller models like Galena.
And just to clear up any confusion, if there's anyone newer to Quake who happens to be watching, you could hear numbers like 55, 58, that was called out. They're calling out when the next timing is for the heavy armor or the Mega health. I believe they said 55 for heavy at the time and 58 for Mega. That was the respawn again shortly after the heavy rotation.
So we're going to hear something very similar the second that Mega just got selected. There's no doubt that that was coordinated, because that's just the nature of 2v2, really. Coordination and communication's key.
Definitely the slowest game we've seen today, though.
I would definitely agree with that.
We've had 30 kills now exchanged in the first half of the match, but that is going to be a 2-for-1 over there. Let's have a look at the scores. 14 for 3 for Cooler. Let's go for him.
I think in this situation too, when these guys are masters of the slow game, and Cooler needs no introduction with that kind of play style, but the slower you play, and it just shows how much control you can have where you're not being rushed into any decisions at all. At the same time, if you're playing that way for an entire map, that's gonna naturally cause some frustration, I think.
Oh my god, Latromi coming in with a double. Cooler say, you know what, this time I actually am really low. Why don't you take it, Latromi? You can have a little bit of the limelight and see what you can do with this.
My gift to you.
Oh, wow. Direct rocket. Someone give this man a rail. We've seen some of the most amazing runs, actually, from this player with the rail gun. Is he going to be able to start popping off a little bit? Totem down near T.
Can happily take way more of those. His LG. All of the 2Z lot, but their LGs are just out of this world.
Well, protection's gone. A player's been found over towards that again. I was going to say, I'd love to hear Cooler and Latromi's comms, but we're not going to be able to know what's going on at all.
Well, probably a lot of our viewers probably will be able to, but
that's true,
we certainly won't be able to.
So, let's see if they're able to retain this control a lot, because it is interesting to see the clash. I mean, it is a sort of clash in a way, the slow style versus the even slower style, and the fact that Cooler and Latromi have actually been able to hold super strong positions. I said at the beginning that I didn't know if I necessarily agreed that it was going to be more one-sided for AMD, but they're really showing they've buckled down super hard.
Well, I watched these guys play off stream during the other matches that you guys are working with. And it was just they played on Awoken, and that was by far the most dominant map I've seen this whole tournament.
Yeah,
it was absolute insanity.
Spotted a target up at the top, looking for any kind of rocket damage he can get. He's on.
Wow, die hard.
He's going to get that totem back up, so he's going to be feeling a little better in just a second.
I think that's a testament to Glenn how quickly she can heal up. You know, from 1 HP to 125 without having to really move across the map. Without putting yourself in harm's way. Misses the rail, but more importantly, gives away his position. That's now going to allow Quaker to try and fight. They do get one hit of the pummel, but the Tromi actually surprisingly stacked, and they've not been able to return the level of control. AMD just running in there and just switching momentum. But the quad gets stolen last minute. Effortless. Cheeky boy.
There we go. We needed to see some kind of energy from this, from the Quaker Orbs, and this is where they could really start picking up the pace. I don't want them playing it into the hands of Cooler and Tromi when they want to slow the game down. I want to start seeing some combat from them, challenge them face to face a bit more, because really they don't have much of a choice anymore.
Yeah, it's really, I think the noose is starting to tighten quite a lot because we have 4.5 minutes left. If the pace of this match continues, we're just seeing how slow the frags are being returned from Quaker Orbs. They can't afford to do that anymore. Timer is not on their side at all.
It's going to be another heavy. It is going to go to Effortless. He's finding a couple more hourglasses. Oh, and he just moves away his crosshair as they were pushing in, which could actually be for the better because it would have been a 2 versus 1 situation. He could have lost that big stack that he's been saving. We've got to see action really, really soon. Oh. And all these rail misses hurt so much, but he finds a 100 damage one.
Effortless, I mean, you're trying so hard to be patient, but when you know that the Tromi's on the warpath around, you can only really stay in one position for so long before he inevitably comes up behind you.
Actually, his stack gets whittled down, so sadly not able to make much happen from it. I'm going to go check out Yen. I've not seen enough from him yet. Let's have a quick look. Score 7 for 15 for him, 8 for 14 for Effortless. I mean, Cooler's just blistering away with, was it 19 for 4-5?
Now, the crazy thing about this team with AMD actually is that Cooler's always been a famously, you know, like a chokehold style player, where he's really good at sort of like forcing you into places that he wants you to be at. And then the team coordination that Tromi has access to and how good he is at these team modes, he's really good at sort of understanding where a team has been kept, and he's so consistently coming up behind. And, you know, you've got someone who's able to keep you in a certain part of the map like Cooler, and then you've got Tromi who can essentially flank that position. It's really scary.
It's absolutely terrifying. And actually seeing the strategy play out on land, I think there have been a few people that might have questioned the strategies that Cooler's had.
Always multiple angles here. Every time.
Hold on, let me jump over towards him. They're starting to get some more power-ups, but what can they really make of it now? Rocket jumps towards it, and yeah, it is the right way to go. You need to start getting that mobility up, getting in their faces a bit. Totem down. He might want to jump through the teleporter in a second and take it. No, he's not going to go for it.
Definitely would have called there by Rocket Room, and that's where Yenem goes for the change of plans, but the protection did very little. Does manage to kill Cooler, but one frag when you need 1,000 more. It's not going to help you out. I want to refer to you guys again, the timer. This map is only a matter of just over 2 minutes away from being finished, and this is a big lead. AMD have been slowing the pace down so that it's going one frag at a time for Quaker Orbs, very slowly in between. This is a perfect strategy, and AMD, they're going to keep this up the whole map. They're not going to change.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if maybe the last 20 seconds, but that doesn't make a difference anymore. Cooler is going to go down. Let's see if Effortless and Nima can get this a 2 for 1 at least. They will make it happen, but they need a hell of a lot more of those before the time runs out, and simply the clock is not looking good for them at the moment.
Just under 2 minutes to get 14 frags just to tie up, while trying to prevent frags at the same time. Difficult situation, Zoot.
Super difficult. Now, they might almost have to start looking at strategizing for the next map, honestly. I think they really played into Cooler's hands. It worked out really well for them. Occasionally when Cooler and Tromi might have had weaker positions, but they were avoiding combat, they managed to wait and set up nice positions for the power-up instead by just delaying the fights. And they were always happy to do that. They were like, it's all right, we'll fight on your terms, that's okay. Now they need to dictate the pace of the game a bit more themselves so that they can feel in control.
Now the thing is, I wonder how much easier said that will be than done with the likes of Cooler and Tromi on the same team. And Effortless unfortunately committing suicide. I mean, understandably, he has to do something. He has to try and get max damage.
Right now you make plays.
And if you kill yourself, then so be it. Effortless manages to get one more frag, but this is a significant difference, and they can just delay this.
I think Cooler didn't even have his hand on his mouse just then. He was maybe having a think, having a scratch. We've got last part of the squad ticking away. They could bring it back within 10, which will bring back a little confidence. Cooler going down on that occasion. Nice shot over there from Yenem. Missing out on Latromi as well.
And these shots are actually really impressive as well. I just think the situation is, there's a level of very, very obvious carelessness from AMD here, and I straight up think it's because they know they've already won.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how, I guess, like extreme and hardcore, and these frags are racking up and up and up, and it's very much, I think, because AMD, they've known the match is won. They know it was won 2 minutes ago. There we go. Map 1 is going to go to AMD in very, very convincing fashion. The question is, can Quaker Orbs break the mold here when it comes to cracking AMD's defense?
37 to 29 in the end. Sure, they're looking a little bit better towards the end, but exactly as you said, they're trying to build back a little bit of desperation, and Cooler and Latromi taking their foot off the gas pedal. I want to see Effortless in the end. If they get into a situation like that, don't wait till the last 2 minutes to start going aggressive. If you've got 10 or 15 frags to catch up from, against Cooler and Latromi, you might need to start going aggressive much, much sooner than that.
Now, I guess the question's going to be, well, I was about to say the question's going to be what the next map is, but I know what it's going to be because they've just changed. Blood Run is going to be the option. Now, the map changes, I think they're different in size, different in playstyles. I guess with Blood Run being the next map, do you personally think that we're likely to see this be the map where the guys crack into AMD?
It's possible. This is a far more fast and furious map. Again, I've been saying it a lot today, all these nail gun rushes that you can have. I think the power-up setups are really interesting on this because it really rewards people who set up very early. But it's definitely a more small, compact map where I suspect we're going to get a lot more action, as opposed to Ruins, which has got, it's a larger map, there's far more corners that you can hide in, you can kind of position yourself and move around the map without being noticed a bit more easily. Unless, of course, you've got a piercing sight on your tail. But yeah, 100%. Now watch them play even more slowly than on Ruins.
I mean, it's a level of, I think, both being very, very confident and very, very comfortable against an opponent where you don't feel like you're being, I guess, pressured or rushed into making hasty decisions or hasty plays or playing away from a speed you would normally play at. CIS region in general, very, very good at Blood Run. It's like, this has been since, I mean, come on, it's even since before Quake Champions, but the second Blood Run was obviously in the rotation in Quake Champions. This was a map that we were seeing picked all the time in any game mode that would have it. And whenever we see CIS players there, particularly people like Latromi and Cooler, they have great success here.
Yeah, completely. They're not going to be far into this map whatsoever. We should be jumping into game in just a few seconds' time. The AMD players looking to secure their way through to day 2, first seed in the group. Loser of this series will go up versus Maestro UK. But let the action begin. We're on Cooler Camp once again. He's got piercing sight out rapidly and a rail to go with it.
That's the thing. We could potentially see a run back if it is Quaker Orbs, obviously in the lower bracket, and it's Maestro UK that advance off that first elimination match. A run back would be most interesting, but I feel like these guys, they can't even think about that. They need to take it one map at a time. They're still in this series. Until that final countdown finishes or that 50th frag goes down, these guys still have cards.
What a combo there for Cooler, making that a favorable exchange for AMD. I do want to point out that we've got Yenem playing on the Doom this time. They've got a Galena to accompany Doom.
Now, I think the thing is, having Doom and having more access around the map is going to be super important. We've already seen how vital Berserk can be when fighting for the power-up, particularly on this map. That Berserk, the punch, the mobility, it kind of goes hand in hand with how you tackle the power-up on this map. Speaking of which, Yenem does actually get a Berserk punch. And going through one of those, again, damned if you do and damned if you don't situations. If he was going to stay there, risk getting railed. If he teleported, yes, he's going to die anyway, but at least now the totem's gone. So the teleport is now safe to use.
Well, I'm going to stay on board with Yenem right now because he's got a nice stack.
Actually, he didn't pick up the rail, so he knew it was going to waste too much time turning around and going back. So that's just a bit of a loss on his part, really.
Now they are actually playing quite slowly at this point. We've got the two AMD players on kind of opposite sides of the map, both by teleporters. We see them coming a little closer together now as Mega's going to be spawning. Heavy as well will be up, but there might be a bit of a sandwich situation. Wow. Yenem still gets one. He's going for more damage, and they get the 2 for nothing in the end.
That was well played. The second he acknowledged that the rail had missed, I think he knew there's, the guys were together. Perfect time to go in for the kill and punish that missed rail.
Right, let's check out the setup for this because Effortless just managed to get himself onto the Heavy. He's lost a lot of health and armor. He's got no support at all for Yenem. And I'm wondering that was giving up the power-up for free.
they had such an amazing chance to make something happen off that 2-for-0 exchange, but unfortunately, just kind of within a blink of an eye, gave AMD the opportunity to get control back.
What I would have possibly done if I was Yenim, because he was on about 2 points of health at the end of that 2-for-0 fight, I was maybe would have just clicked on escape and respawn, because it was about just over 10 seconds to the power up. He could have then had a nice stack to work with his teammate, moving for the power up spawn.
Oh, Tromi hurting there.
That's some good information they've got. They only leaked 1 frag, and they also managed to return fire and get their own on Cooler, so they really didn't do too badly, all things considered.
We are seeing a slow-paced match as always, kind of as slow as you can expect in 2v2 on a map this small. But Quaker Orbs actually taking the lead, looking a lot stronger on this map so far.
Well, it's a nice start to have. Is Effortless going to cover that teleporter? Oh, he's not expecting Cooler to push through. Oh, does manage to find Latromi, will go down.
I was definitely expecting that missed shotgun blast to get punished by that frag, but I actually like the pick there from Effortless. These guys playing strong. Gets the guaranteed combo again, gets that easy shot. Land the rocket, line him up and just finish the job.
Totem out, can he support his teammate? Looking for one down on Latromi. We have got Yenim on his own over here, but he comes in and does save the day a little bit. Quaker Orbs are 10 for 7 now, I think.
I was worried at that moment the second we saw the kind of not actually getting to the totem in time. He knew that he needed HP to actually survive that fight. He had to double back and take it a couple of times. I was worried if that wasted time was going to be all it took for him to actually lose that exchange, but not quite. He died a little bit later, and there's another 2-for-0. And here comes the control and fight for protection.
It's coming at such a good time for Cooler and Latromi to get these 2 kills. And are we going to get a last-second rush? I'm just going to quickly go over to the guys. They're both attacking from teleporter side.
Oh my god, that damage on Cooler is so severe! They
Wow.
trade it back and forth. Enem has protection using the Berserk just to secure it, and because the Mega's there, he's in a great situation. But on Blood Run, we've seen how easy it can be to run away from a power-up carrier.
He just missed Cooler moving past him, getting the heavy armor. So he's going to try and come over, support that teammate as soon as he can. Effortless goes down, but it's now time to chase and extend that frag lead.
And they're just going to sit in the teleporter. And it really, there's nothing Yenim can really do to chase down. They need to hope that Effortless can head them off, but Effortless is dying so much, they're actually gaining frags while the opponent has power-up.
Now, I almost feel like it's Cooler bringing his dual strategies into 2v2 and combining Latromi with it. Because when you see in duel, this is the type of map where you really can escape quite comfortably, and it's always been that way. If you're very smart, then your defensive place can be ever so effective. Going through those teleporters, picking which route that you want to go through afterwards, and especially if you now apply it to 2v2, you can really cause some nuisances in communication for your opponents.
I think the crazy thing here is that when we would see Cooler play other team modes like Sacrifice, he wasn't really able to do much. You know, he would kind of assemble with teams that were entering because they could. He didn't really have a solid, 4-man squad that would train every day. He would play because he could play with the guys. But he was never really able to, I think, come into his element in Sacrifice because of the nature of the mode. It was a lot more crazy. But because 2v2, yes, it's faster paced than Duel, but there still is scope to use your brain a lot more because Cooler is one of the absolute smartest players in the business. As like you said, it's really impressive that he can take some of his strats and apply it to 2v2, where most players don't really do that.
I find it really interesting how well his strats are working on LAN right now, where I know he's suffered a bit on some online tournaments, but he's really persisted with it, and if this is something he's going to be using all the way through the event, maybe this is a sort of a dark horse that we weren't expecting.
Well, we know Cooler's been putting in the work. I mean, granted, yes, he's been training a lot more with Neutrino.
Oh my god.
Whenever he's been streaming, and that was a great sequence. Quaker Orbs now has the quad, but yeah, there's the tactical suicide. Way too weak to do anything with it. Risks giving it up to AMD. You don't want to do that.
A nice totem on the edge, actually. Looking for L2 targets. Doesn't know which one to go for. And the rocket's on it. It's Tromi. What a follow-up from him. Nothing you can do about that. That was real amazing coordination from AMD.
Just a swift turnaround as well. Like, waste no time. Before he even had a chance to realize what was going on, Latromi was in there with the frag.
Yeah, perfect coordination. And now, Latromi, although the quads run out and not much has been acquired from it, I said before this was going to be faster than Ruins. I actually think it is slower.
You always wonder if the nature of the map for 2v2 would allow it to be faster paced, but AMD, they know how they want to approach this. Tromi, they're both weak. I don't think they're going to chase down. It's such a risk. They go for the heavy instead, but Latromi wise to it.
I mean, the difference between this type of game and, say, watching Sleep to Awake with Sidestep and Claws and Ice Climbers and Toxins Ron, to, you know, two European teams we consider to be at the top right now, is really the positional aspect of this, really focusing on the items and position and cherishing each and every life you have, whereas the other strategy that the other teams that I mentioned play is very much constantly being able to refrag and making sure that you're always getting exchanges that are favoring you, and then pressuring and pressuring and pressuring, and, you know, working with your aim as much as you can,
well,
ignoring the rest.
Sometimes I feel like it's, yes, if you're going to go down, look at what you can gain from it. You know, what can you kind of set up for the next time? Whereas if your approach is going to be that all life is precious, as it were, and it's if I go down one time, then it can spell bad things, so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I'm giving them no advantage in terms of straight up score. That can very much work as well. But here comes the control for that power up once again. Everless kind of sandwiched in a little bit. Yenem going in with the Berserk. We've seen that as such a popular strategy. 100 damage on the rocket. Well placed indeed. Only one frag separating them, and now it's going to be completely even. But even with protection, I mean, he can't fight. And Atromi knows. He knows just how weak he is.
21 health was between them to start with. Is he going to be able to survive at all? He's still landing rockets. He's trying to get a shotgun on them, but eventually they get shut down. Cooler, he's the one to pick it up, the healthier of the two. But we've only got a 2-frag advantage, and that rocket is super nice for slowing down Cooler.
AMD did a wonderful job there of splitting up the focus. You know, they kind of offered themselves as distractions regularly, and they weren't really, the Quaker Orbs in general weren't able to really pinpoint someone. You know, we've been seeing people focus targets down consistently today, and it's, this guy's weak, finish him. This guy's here, let's both shoot him. We haven't really seen that work too often, because when the fights happen, AMD makes sure that the pressure is put on evenly.
Right, it's been really spot on. Now, Cooler under a lot of pressure from both sides, but still managed to get Rail. What a reaction shot from Cooler. And behind, there's someone berserking, but you know, eventually his berserk wears off. And he can shoot again.
Yeah, I think we were definitely going to see a Rail come out a bit earlier if he could just put his bloody fists away.
We're 20 for 20, so we've got a incredibly close blood run. And I'm really glad that Quaker Orbs have been able to give this for us, you know, compared to the first map scores that we were getting.
Definitely. This is definitely, I do not see this map either going down to score limit. It's going to be one of those timeout matches again, so it's going to be, from this point on, as it always has been, how significant is each life going to be when it's a matter of 1 or 2 frags?
Cooler with Heavy. Mega was taken at pretty much the same time. The setup for power-up is what we're expecting now. Oh my god, all of them are going to be fighting over by the Hourglasses. Latromi takes down Effortless, and Cooler, he's going to get the flank on Yenem. We've got Respawn coming in. Effortless does manage to get back at Latromi, and have we got one more return? The punch, and another punch! Yenem, he gets quad. He's looking for the machine gun kill, but Latromi gets him.
And he's going to be outnumbered 2v1. I wonder if they're actually going to try and rush this and take the quad for themselves. Going for the kill, Yenem misses the rail. He's going to get punished with a bunch of free damage. Effortless coming up behind, but has to watch out for the rockets. Yet to actually get a significant frag from this power-up.
Let's see.
Oh my god.
Avoids that. Eventually around the corner, chases him, and it works. Just little flick rocket.
Just needs to have no
look at this. This is just
the crouch, you cheeky.
Oh, Cooler moves away just because Yenem moved into the room as well, but almost preserving his life even longer.
He like set up shop right there.
A smart spot to go, because you're not going to see him around the corner there. You're not. Oh, little totem pride. Yeah, you're not the visor, so you're not going to get that info straight away, especially if it's on cooldown anyway from your teammate.
Yeah, Everless going to have to be careful. He would have heard the jump pad. He knew a fight was coming, and looking at his HP, I think it was, I'm going to do as much damage as I can. It would have taken too long to double back. I think Cooler was going to clock him regardless. But AMD slowly starting to sort of spin that wheel. They are taking advantage, frag by frag. It was a matter of 1 or 2, but now it's going to be 5.